How we doing, guys? We're looking at Text and Test, chapter 4.6. That's page 137. And we're going to look at questions 4 and 9 in this exercise. Question 4 asks us, determine whether these two circles touch internally or externally. Okay, so let's go back a page here and show you our condition. If two circles touch externally, then the distance between their centers is equal to the two radiuses added together, or radii. If they touch internally, the distance between their two centers, between here and here, is r1, the bigger radius, minus the smaller radius, r2. So that's what we're trying to establish here. So here's our two circles, x squared plus y squared. Minus 64y plus 32 equals 0. So you can do the usual, pause the video if you want to check my work. But I've said I need to add a 64 on here to complete the square. So I add a 64 over here. So that's square the first, square the second, twice the product. And I get 32 over here, which means I've got a center at 0, 8, radius root 32, which is the same as 4 root 2. For the second circle, again, if you want to pause, you're welcome to. X squared plus y squared minus 18x plus 2y plus 32 equals 0, rewritten as x squared minus 18x plus y squared plus 2y equals negative 32. To complete the square here, I need 81, so I've added 81 on both sides. To complete the square here, I need 1, so I've added 1 on both sides. And factorizing that, will square the first, x squared, square the second, 81, twice the product is minus 18. Here, square the first, square the second, twice the product is y plus 1 squared. Okay, and we get 50 on this side. So the center here is at 9 minus 1. The radius is at root 50, or 5 root 2. So the two centers are up here. The distance between those two centers is going to be the square root of 9 minus 0 squared plus 8 take negative 1 squared, and that's the square root of 81 plus 81, and that's going to come out as 9 root 2 if you work through that. Square root of 162. The difference in the radii, or sorry, not the difference. Okay, you can see there that the sum of the radii is 4 root 2 plus 5 root 2, and that gives us 9 root 2. So these touch externally, because you have to add the two radiuses to get the distance between the center. And just to show you what's happening, there's 0, 8 there, 9 minus 1, 3, 6, 9. This is just a pretty rough sketch. But 0, 8, that has a radius of 4 root 2, which is somewhere around 6. So 2, 4, 6, something like this. So here's one of our circles. And the other one has a radius of 5 root 2, which is somewhere around 7.5. So 3, 6, 7.5, something like that. There's the other one. Okay, that our circles touch externally. Okay, and they look something like that. Okay, distance between the centers is the same as R1 plus R2 added together. So they touch externally. Okay, question 9 says a circle with center in the first quadrant touches the y-axis at the point 0, 2. If the circle makes a chord of length 3 units on the x-axis, find its equation. So here it is in the first quadrant. Makes a chord of length 3 units with the x-axis and touches the y-axis at the point 0, 2. Well, what I can do here is I can redraw maybe this triangle here. Okay, that's the radius of our circle we're looking at there. Okay, and if I split it down the middle, it's perpendicular bisector, has to go through the chord. Okay, so the radius and a chord are always perpendicular, and a radius which bisects a chord is perpendicular to the chord, and a radius which is perpendicular to the chord will also bisect it. So there's our, if that distance is 3, This distance is 1.5. And from here to here we know is 2 units, because we just touched the x-axis at 2 units. Okay, so doing a little bit of Pythagoras, r squared is 1.5 squared plus 2 squared. You're going to get that the radius here is 2.5. Okay, if you solve that. So that means that distance is 2.5, and so is that distance there. Okay, that's 2.5. So now I can say, well, to get to that center point, I have to go across 2.5 units and up 2 units. So the center of my circle is at 2.5, 2. The radius is 2.5. So the equation of that circle is x minus 2.5 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 2.5 squared. Okay, which is 25 over 4. Okay, so I'm going to ask you now to go and do page 136, questions 1, 2, and 6. And in class tomorrow, we're going to do questions 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 11. See you then. Bye-bye.